So in these next videos, you might actually hear my husband singing the top of his lungs while he's making dinner. I'm not going to tell him to stop, but hopefully you don't hear too much of that. Okay, so next we're going to do something with the photo caption. So I've outlined a certain way to do them. We can do this really any way you want. So I'm going to show you this one this way, but you can, again, have creative freedom to make a photo caption however you want. But I want to show you how to do it this kind of way because there's some interesting things that we can do now with making fonts a little bit different. Okay, so obviously we have a bunch of images in here. If we want to add some photo captions, I just have to, excuse me, excuse me. So photo captions, obviously, they give credit. They tell us what the photograph is about. They tell us who the photographer is, and they're just a way to add some more visual interest. Like I said, you can make this layout however you want. We could add photo captions, say, as a, just a simple text box, just drawing text boxes and kind of putting them even over the image. If we put a text box over the image, remember that we have to do that object text frame options and just ignore the text wrap in order to do that. Alternatively, we can have them just aligned to the columns or the grids. We can even, occasionally you'll see, excuse me, you'll see a kind of a long skinny one. And if I zoom in a little bit, and instead of doing text just kind of on, no, sorry, that's not the way to do it. Don't do a long skinny one that way. What we do is we do a long skinny one this way. So for instance, this is a photo caption. And because I don't have that, ignore. So I just did a Control or Command B. So this is photo caption. And now if I rotate it using just holding down the Shift key, now we can rotate the entire text box and then you can see what that's going to look like. So you could do something like that. In that case, you probably want to have it aligned to the bottom of the image or something like that, right? It's totally up to you, your creative freedom. You might want to even, I'm going to show you this thing where you put them within a text frame or you colorize the text frame so we can put them over the image. But like I said, you can do it however you want. So I'm going to do it this way where I'm going to do these kind of little boxes. So in the text layer, I'm going to draw a text box. Zoom in a tiny bit. And I'm going to draw this, say, I'm going to draw this too from the margin. And maybe about that size. And again, because I have that style applied to it, I have to go text frame, object, text frame options, ignore text wrap. And then I'm just going to get the name of the, is this the right one? Yeah, I'm just going to get, just pressing down the space bar, make sure I have, the right image. In the images, I actually, I have these kind of, the name of the photograph and the photographer. So I'm just going to copy and paste that and use that as the photo captions. So now I'm going to stylize it. I'm going to select it all and I'm just going to apply the copy style to it. And then what have I said here? I have a whole bunch of stuff here. Oh yeah, decrease the size to 7.5 by 8 1/4. Sorry, I sneezed and now I'm all sniffly. Was it 8 and, I've already forgotten. 7.5, 8 1/4. By 8 1/4. Okay, I don't want, and then I want to make it bold. Or black in this case. If you have a bold font, I want to align this right. Align right. Good. I want to know hyphenations. So hyphenations, remember, I can either do it in the paragraph up here and just uncheck hyphenate here, or I can do it in the paragraph window here, uncheck hyphenate. Alternatively, I can do it in the little hamburger drop down in Control as well, and in the hyphenate pop up, I can do that. So I'm going to select the whole thing, make it a bit smaller, and I'm going to make the frame white. Now this is something that I rarely do because it can, when you do that, you'll see that what happens is that the text is way too close to the edge of the frame. So I'm just going to back up one. I'm just going to show you again, just to remind you, if we click on that, that might be totally acceptable. That might be a nice photo caption. Zoom in a little bit now. But as opposed to just colorizing the text, I can colorize the frame. And like I said, I rarely do this because we have to do some finessing here. And we have to, let's do, make the text frame white, but we're going to change the opacity and create an effect and use that control or that text frame options. And we're going to inset the text and make a style out of it. And the reason we're going to do that is to bump that text away from the edge of the page and then to kind of make it like a little floating cloud. So in the effects window, if you don't have that effects window open, again, it is window effects. I'm going to change the opacity to 75%. Now we can do lots of different things. Just remind you, there's tons of different things that we can do in this effects window. I'm just going to change the opacity straight up just 50 or maybe even 50% or 60%. No, 75 looks good. And then I'm going to do that Control-Alt-C, what that does is that actually, just like we do, it's just the fitting preset, but when you do it for a text frame, it actually just, you don't have these fill frame proportion options. All you have is fit frame to content, and you'll see what happens there. It just kind of bumps the text right up to the edge. So as opposed to do that, and then last but not least, we're going to do that Control B, or that Option B, and go into, where am I here? Text frame options, and we're just going to inset the text a little bit. So we're just going to play with this, and you're going to see how when you play with this insetting text, what happens. So I'm just going to inset it, and now because I don't have a huge text frame, it's actually bumping it too much. So if I just kind of back off a bit, I'm just actually going to press OK and just make the text frame a little bit bigger, and then you're going to be able to see it a bit better. So I just have that. You're going to have to wait 1 second. I hear my children fighting. Just hold on.